Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And firstly, if you like this look that I am wearing today, it was achieved using the new Kaleidos makeup collection, and I did a trying it on for y'all on camera. So if you want to see those products in action and how I created this situation, I will leave it down below. But today we are doing another anti-haul, and for a while there I was once a month, month and a half. Brands were sort of slowing down due to current climate, and now unfortunately they have been continuously picking up the pace. I have already got like 2, maybe 3 of these like pre-filmed, because how I do it is like I'll check trend mood, I'll take a screenshot and be like, that's in the list to talk about in an anti-haul. And so when I reach the point of 10 or more products on my list, that's when I go on in and film a video. So we've reached another cumulation of 10 or more products, and so it is my duty to provide you all my personal insight on said products and why I ain't gonna be buying this shiz. I'm going to be making a playlist of my anti-haul, so I will leave that down below for all y'all's viewing pleasure. But going on into this video, let's just talk about the things that have been released that are some of them, like I feel with every anti-haul I do, there's one big one on here that I would love to buy, but for a couple different reasons, we leaving that shiz at the store. And then there are other ones that are just like, why? I mean, I feel there's a lot of that just all in all with all the shiz that's getting released. It is one giant consumeristic headache. So come join me and let me take you down a road of anti-consumerism with this fantastic anti-haul. And we might as well start off with the thing that I wanted, with the thing that probably at least 15 of y'all tagged me in this shiz. We're like, I hate to be an enabler, I hate to be devil's advocate, but did you see this shiz? And that is that Patrick Ta decided he was going to extend the color range of his blushes, which typically would have gotten me all kinds of hot and bothered, because y'all know how I feel about his blush formula. But probably, thankfully, these are a different sort of blush. They are duos, one of which being a cream and one being a powder. If these things had been powder duos, oh my goodness, I would have having to incite all the power within me not to go in on those things. But because they are powder and cream, and because I have the cream products that I use and love from Natasha Denona, I've got all of her smaller palettes as well as her 2 large ones. In those palettes alone, can you not? In those palettes alone, I am set on cream. I am so good. I'm sure they will go bad, unfortunately, before I'm able to use them up. Though, spoiler alert, 2021, I'm going to be trying to do a project use up that's going to include products like that, my Anastasia. I'm getting thought into it now so that I can be ready 2021 to know what I'm going to be putting into the get as much use as I can, and hopefully maybe pan some things. But because I am on my low buy, because it's cream and powder, even though the shades look delicious, I've heard wonderful things about these already. If any of y'all have them, definitely let us know how they are down below, because they look absolutely stunning. But realistically, I don't need any new blush. But even more realistically, I don't need any new cream products that are just gonna, I've got a lot of stuff. If any of y'all saw my blush declutter, I have plenty. So I don't want to be adding something into my collection when I have something that's a cream that I'm already using, But if they had been powder, If they had been powder, it might be a different story, though I would still try very hard to stay true to this low buy, which we are doing excellent on. Then I guess we'll hop into another I would like to have, probably just on the basis of what it is. Y'all know that if there's anything I don't need more than blush, it's highlighter. And Laura Geller decided they were going to drop 2 shades of highlighter that look absolutely stunning. And not only do they look absolutely stunning, I decluttered all of my Laura Geller Gelato Swirl Illuminators because, well, couple different reasons with the packaging. And these are in nice, square, typical normal powder highlighter componentry. And so it has that going for it. It's a highlighter. They got a beautiful champagne gold, a beautiful pinky one. There's only 2. It's not a whole freaking shade range. It looks like some kind of fancy baked gelée shimmy shiny goodness. But as previously stated, I am trying very hard not to bring in single compacts. If y'all saw my birthday haul, I bought myself some single compacts. I got some single compacts from y'all. And so there is absolutely no feasible, logical reason for me to buy these. I just be going in because I'm like, ooh, highlighter, Laura Geller. I like that brand. I would like to try some more things from that brand. So there are a lot of positives that would go into me wanting to purchase, but the negative, the realistic side of me is just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't give in to the shimmy shiny, pretty, hypnotizing highlighter whateverness. Gotta stay strong if you want to make it through this. So I'm gonna have to say no, even though in my heart of hearts, were I not as woke, enlightened of a person as I am now, this shiz would be already in my cart, getting shipped to me to be in my hot little hands. Okay, now let's talk about something that I don't want, that I'm not gonna buy, that I think is, I don't know if it's stupid, I think it's ugly, I think it's gonna be a pain in the butt to work with. Urban Decay, in their desperation to somehow maintain relevant in the current climate, have been releasing interesting products. I mean, that's a nice way to put it. I feel like Urban Decay, out of like Too Faced and Tarte and a bunch of other, Urban Decay is, in my opinion, they ain't doing so hot. They're not on the same level that they were, 4 years ago, or even longer than that, man. Like 5, 6 years ago. They're just kind of chugging along, desperately trying to maintain the relevance. And so they decided to come out with this Stoned palette, which isn't the kind of stone that I thought about it. I think they're evoking on, stones and precious gems and crystals and that sort of thing, which most of y'all know that is some shiz I can vibe with. But what I can't vibe with is this palette that's got like 2 mattes on each side up here, 2 mattes on each side down here, and then in the middle are these super chunky, nasty stone effect shades. I am all for a crystal theme. I am all for ethereal gemstone goodness. What I'm not here for is when you theme this thing and then you take inspiration for your texture, for the texture of your shadows, and you take the inspiration from literal gravel. Like, this shiz looks chunky. This shiz looks like the worst combination of a pressed glitter foil. You gotta funky work with it. Like, did any of y'all see this thing? And any of y'all think, yes, that looks like a formula that is going to apply smooth as butter to my eyelids? Are any of y'all thinking that? If you are, let me know. I mean, aside from the whole aesthetic, the packaging is the nicest thing about this shiz. And that's sort of the territory we're going in with a lot of these mainstream brands, especially Too Faced, where they're like, let's give you some bang up packaging and then like put inside of it this this travesty of an eyeshadow formulation. I mean, it just looks so chunky. It looks so nasty. It do not look like fun. And if you're gonna go for the whole whatever pretty topper glitter whatever thing, why are you giving us formats that don't make any sense? You know, I understand it's just like, oh, just throw that matte in the whatever and then apply one of the glitter chunky gravel shades onto your lids. Just give us the full gravel experience and give us all of those shades rather than trying to pair it up and mix it with the mattes. I mean, I don't understand it, I don't like it, and I'm not gonna buy it. I haven't bought a good or even just straight up an Urban Decay product for a hot while. Then something that's just sort of like, I don't need it, I'm not gonna buy it. Apparently another sub-brand from Makeup Revolution that they love making sub-brands. This XXRevolution, I have written down Hourglass dupe palettes. They're these nice, pretty sort of 3 shades. Some are highlighter, some are blush, some are like highlighter, blush, and bronzer, but they are disgustingly reminiscent in the way that the product is pressed, as well as the packaging presentation, to the Hourglass ambient lighting palettes. I mean, Makeup Revolution, if y'all just took the time to formulate your own things instead of desperately trying to take themes and intellectual property from other brands and making it your own, I would have, it's not like I don't have respect for your brand, but it's like, okay, you're formulating this thing, why do you have to make it a mock-up of another brand's product? And I understand they do a lot of their whatever is, oh, we dupe things. And I'm like, don't dupe things, just make your own formulas. I mean, they make their own formulas, but just make your own, you know, do the formula, and then you don't have to try to make it look like something else that's more expensive. Just focus on making your own bomb diggity stuff, your own bomb diggity formulas, your own amazing packaging, and just maybe go away from constantly having to make your stuff look like other people's stuff so people are gonna buy it because they think it's gonna be a dupe or it's gonna be just as good as the other stuff. Just focus on you and yourself rather than trying to focus on being someone else and making products that are oftentimes not as good. I mean, Makeup Revolution, compared to some other more like indie and affordable groups, they ain't just banking on their own high quality products. You know, I don't hear people talk about Makeup Revolution being like they're an affordable brand that just has bomb diggity formulas that knock out other brands out of the park. No, they're known for like duping other things, and people are like, well, I guess kind of compared to it, you know, you get what you pay for. I don't need any more face palettes. I've already bought 2 more face palettes this year than I probably should have. I have been using them and I do love them, but I don't think these are going to be on the same level as those, especially considering the 2 that I bought was Natasha Denona and Lunar Beauty. I just kind of wish Makeup Revolution would focus on its own things rather than focusing on constantly trying to be something else. Then something that's just sort of, again, this is something that would like pique my interest, would be like, oh, if I didn't already have 1,000 eyeshadows, 1,000 other palettes, and 1,000 other shades that look exactly like these, I might be interested in buying this. This is the Violet Voss Sakura Blossom Palette. I love a good Sakura theme. Your girl is a weeb like nobody's business. But if you're looking at it, it's reds and pinks and rosy shades, and as much as I love a palette that has that color story, I love that palette that has that color story, and I already have a bunch. I got Blood Sugar, I got ColourPop, I got Lime Crime. I have so many pinky, rosy, ready tones that I could probably be buried in them. I don't need to be spending however much on this Violet Voss palette that's gonna give me the same looks from the other palettes that I already own. I've even got like Natasha Denona Love palette. I have these colors over and over and over again. Yes, is the theme sweet with the Sakura and the blossom, and would I like to relive my sweet little Harajuku kawaii Lolita weeb life? Yeah! Sure, but no. I ain't paying out my money for that shiz when I've literally got that shiz already in my collection. It's pretty. It's nice for people who don't have this kind of color story, sure. I think the matte to shimmer ratio is good. It's got a fair amount of nice gradient, but just for me and all the stuff that I already have in my collection, it's just a passing no. Okay, this next one is just like, y'all know your girl is not a fan of Morphe. I've tried. I really have. I probably tried way more than I should have, but I'm just not. I love their continuous Starberry whatever setting mist. That is my favorite setting spray of all time. But their eyeshadow front, haven't tried any foundations. They just don't do it for me. And they decided they wanted to collab with Maddie Ziegler, the really famous chick from Dance Moms. And it's obviously not demographic towards me because I'm a full-grown adult. This is definitely something that's more teen and tween and maybe a little bit older, people who are in her age bracket. And I think she's 18 or 19, which, let's be real, is like 11, 12 years younger than me. And so I know already that I'm not the targeted demographic for this palette. I'm not the person who's gonna be like, oh boy, I need a Morphe palette that's in collaboration with Maddie Ziegler. I have no idea. It's just something that I'm like, okay, all right. And another thing though, if you look at those swatches, I mean, Morphe wishes their eyeshadow swatch like that. I don't know any brand, maybe Melt Cosmetics, their stuff swatches beautifully. But I don't know of a lot of brands whose swatches are that opaque and pigmented and beautiful, let alone Morphe. Morphe ain't got swatch power like that. And I hate how people use swatches. These companies, obviously they're doctored, they're photoshopped, they're made to look all kinds of fancy, amazing, and pretty, when in reality, that's probably not what you're actually gonna get. So I always like to wait for realistic swatches from real people. And it's like pastel-y, neutral, weird, just the whole vibe is completely missed on me. It's just a miss. I mean, it's Morphe, it's a person that I have no affinity towards, and then the shades, and then it's just another stupid random Morphe collab. Morphe has been reaching into the recesses and the bottom of the barrels for the collab. We're doing Maddie, we're doing freaking Coca-Cola. Like, all right, let's talk about two very different demographics. They're like, well, maybe if we release them both at the same time, we'll be able to get some kind of viability between them. It just looks a bit lackluster to me. It's not interesting. It's Morphe. It's random. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. Another thing that is a no for me, Nabla Cosmetics, who have bomb diggity highlighters. I will be forever grateful to Jonathan for providing me with said highlighters. I love you, boo. But they decided to release this Miami Lights glitter palette. I appreciate that it's a palette of glitters all on its own. It's not like another palette with glitters in it. So it's a little bit self-aware there. But y'all, it's a glitter palette. I don't like pressed glitters. I don't own, well, I own the ones that I have in palettes. I am not actively going out of my way to acquire pressed glitters into my collection. They are not welcome amidst the horde. And I'm sorry, does anyone get all kinds of whatever when they look at pressed glitters? Because I look at pressed glitters, like I know some people like Instagram, a lot of Instagram accounts and stuff like that. They do, ooh, and the shimmy and the shiny and the whatever. And I look at pressed glitters and I'm just like, ew. Because I think of what I'm gonna have to do to deal with this shiz. I'm thinking of the prep work. I'm thinking of the dealing with the chunkiness. I gotta get the glitter glue. I gotta hope to God it stays in the one place it's gonna be, and then inevitably I'm gonna have glitter everywhere for the rest of my life. For someone who loves to glow, for someone who likes to sparkle, glitter is the herpes of the makeup world. It gets everywhere. No matter how nicely contained it is, inevitably it is going to be somewhere where it's not supposed to be. I don't like pressed glitters. I just don't. Maybe I'm not cool enough. Maybe I don't do glitter cut creases. Maybe I suck at makeup, but I just don't see the appeal. I mean, it's just completely not my thing. So if you have it and you love it and it's the most amazing thing since sliced bread, that is so fantastic for you. But for me, I'm not spending any money on no pressed glitters, let alone just like I said, the ones I have are because they were in other palettes. I think I was this close to just having a stroke because that's what pressed glitters do to me. Okay, something that I'm just like, I look at this and I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I understand why. Everything is a marketing technique. Nothing is put out just because of on its own merit. There's always a team of marketing people behind it that are like, this is a thing. We need to bank on this thing. And that is Moly, which is a Korean skincare brand. They are sold at Ulta. And they are doing a collaboration with Minions. Now, your girl is, I don't have any hatred. I don't hold any ill will toward the little yellowing, babbling things. But I do not need any brand to take them and plaster them artistically all over their products and have that be a selling point for said products. Like, I understand it's marketing, and clearly, once again, I mean, this video should just be makeup that's not in Soraya's demographic, or that Soraya isn't a part of the demographic. And clearly, this is completely lost on me. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't need a lip balm in the shape of a Minion. I don't need a Minion face mask. It is just, why? Why? Why are we taking these things? And it's not like there's been a movie that was released this year, you know, for them to kind of merit latching on to that financial whatever. They're just taking something that probably would have been a lot more viable like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And now they're doing it now because we're so saturated in the makeup market that we're literally running out of ideas. And so the best idea we can think of is to take these little yellow things and put them all over our skincare packaging. I mean, that's where we're at, folks. I hate to break it to you, but this is the peak of innovation. Mainstream brands have reached a dead end of creativity. And it's gotten to the point that they have overextended themselves so much that we're getting crap like this. I understand there are a lot of people who are very passionate about these things. I am not one of them. You all know your girl loves branded merchandise. But this is one franchise that I am okay with not spending my money on, aside from the fact that Moly is not cruelty free. And it's a stupid freaking Minions I mean, it's a little late to the game. It just pops up out of nowhere. They were like, oh, this was popular like 2 years ago. Let's put this imagery on our skincare and call it a cute little collection. Can you not? Can you just not? Okay, something that I really, really want. Well, I don't really, really want, but I kind of really want. Wet n Wild is coming out with another collection. It's already out now. It'll definitely be like all kinds of whatever by the time this goes up. But they did a My Melody collection. I love Sanrio. I love cute, kawaii whateverness, and this has it in spades. You got 2 eyeshadow palettes, you got a blush palette, you got a liquid lipstick, you got a lip gloss, you got a makeup bag, you got a makeup brush. The thing is $65 freaking dollars. I honestly think that's a little bit of a crime. If you've noticed Wet n Wild and those like fancy deluxe whateverness, they've been creeping up in price ever since they started doing this shiz. But in all reality, all normalness, all wokeness, I'm not gonna use those eyeshadow palettes. I would probably get a lot of use out of the blush palette. I don't need any more blush palettes. It's limited edition. I want this for the sake that it is my melody. And that alone anymore is not enough to merit me spending my money on it. It's just is so cute. I wish it had been like, the fact that it's with an affordable brand is great. I wish it had been like maybe with a higher end brand and they just released like two things, like an eyeshadow palette and a blush palette. Then I would have been a lot more inclined than going in and buying all these little freaking extras. It's cute. It's adorable. I love how I've been talking about how I'm not in that teen tween demographic, and I'm like, what the frick do you think this is? But it's just something that I can't justify spending my money on for any reason, especially considering the single items will probably be available by now, but at the time of this, it's $65. You could only buy the whole kit. That's a lot of money for some drugstore makeup, and it's a lot of money because it's licensed. That's the only reason you're getting upcharged. You're not getting upcharged for quality, you're not getting upcharged for presentation, you're getting upcharged for the fact that it is licensed characters on some Wet n Wild makeup. And so I'm like, I could just take that $65 and get like one really, like I could get something from no. Back in the day, I would have bent over backwards. I would have broken my back, my limbs, dragged myself across a valley of broken glass to get this. And now I'm gonna sit on my bed watching Netflix and just let it go. Okay, so this next and last thing is going to be very, subjective. I'm sure different people are gonna have very different opinions on this whole thing, but I was just going through, minding my own business, scrolling through my thing, going through the new stuff at Sephora like one does, and the brand that does the overpriced like hair shiz, the Kitsch stuff, they had different types of face masks. Now I understand in today's climate, face coverings are a must. And I understand, amidst this whole situation, people don't want to look, I mean, it's a face mask. No matter what kind you wear, it's going to look like a friggin' face mask. But a bunch of different brands have decided that they're going to jump on this marketing opportunity, and they're going to provide fashion face masks. I suppose to somehow normalize, to deafen the blow of reality that is surrounding us, you know, for the reasoning we're wearing said face masks. In my opinion, if you're going to buy a non-normal medical looking face masks, there are so many people on Etsy. Buy locally, buy from your aunt. My friend Morgan has made some. My friend Jess is making them. Go to someone, go to an independent person, go to Etsy and buy those. Do not give a mainstream company that has decided to bank on this situation and say, you know what? We're a company that has absolutely nothing to do to this, but we want to sell face masks because people want to be fashionable. I hate it. I really do. And it's not just this brand. A lot of brands that I love and respect, a lot of alternative brands are like, hey, let's get on this bandwagon and let's make all kinds of cool nifty. And I like the idea of being able to express yourself via your facial covering. But in the end, that's all it is, a facial covering, and I don't want to give my money to a corporation that has decided that, I mean, it just, does it seem weird to anyone else? Does it seem a little off color, a little strange, a little grabby, a little reaching? Or is it just me getting offended over up in here about these mainstream whatevers being like, now we're gonna sell face masks? And it's not just one design. They had all these different designs, and it's just, I understand we are in a new normal, but why does a new normal have to equate a big company making money on something that wasn't fashionable to begin with? Like I said, if you want to be all like whatever and you want to have whatever, buy locally, buy from Etsy people, buy from all the fancy sewing people who are doing it. Don't give these corporations more money do not reward them for just taking this and running with it and saying, you know what? The world is literally on fire right now, but hey, we can make some money off of it. Just don't do it. Just, like I said, buy locally, Etsy, all the whatevers, if you're in a town, look for someone who's making them. This whole insurgence of fashion or whatever oriented face masks has just sort of rubbed me the wrong way, especially when it's done by a large established company, a company that was never, face masks were never a part of their usual whatevers. Like, does anyone else see that this is kind of like something that I feel Too Faced would do? They'd go beyond just like having a face mask that says Too Faced on it, which is bad enough as it is. But being like, ooh, get this like fancy, I don't know, tutti frutti, bejeweled whatever face masks when you make a $35 purchase. It just doesn't do it for me. And it just popped up and I was like, I'm getting a little whatever. I'm going to talk about this shiz because I do think it's a bit, I don't want to say distasteful. It just kind of doesn't sit well with me. But those are all the products I have for this particular anti-haul. These anti-hauls are not going to stop coming. Buckle in for the continuation because we weren't even able to get through all the products on this list in this video. So there's going to be more. Lots more of anti-hauling on this channel because the farther we get, the farther and slipping into mediocrity do these mainstream brands become. And if we stay quiet, it's basically telling them it's okay. It is not. It's not okay. Stop it. Or just at least admit your mediocrity and move on and stop trying to make random stupid things and think it's the next big thing. Again, near aneurysm. Obviously, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts about these products down below. If they are your favorite, if you love them, you're planning on getting them, that is fantastic. You keep doing you, boo-boo. Makeup is a wonderfully subjective thing, but thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah.